with Grace Edison, who has had a lot of transformation in the community. Many of you who are podcast listeners have heard Nearful, but many of you haven't heard the podcast or Grace on the podcast. So, Grace, can you just tell people, in terms of when you look back at your evolution from working with me and within the courses, like what's happened with your space, your time, your dharma, your flow, your body?
Well, so it started with my body for sure. Absolutely. And I think that had to happen because I didn't actually have the energy to do any of the other work. So I went through Body Thrive twice before I really got to a place where I could even start looking at some of the other areas of my life. I was known to live in a state of chaos and own that and be like, I love living in a state of chaos. And so I now do not live in a state of chaos. In fact, people come into my house and say like, whoa, like what happened here? And which is really exciting. Like I don't know that I ever thought it would get to that point. And it seemed like a natural evolution where when the inner space cleaned up and started to get more aligned and things became clear, then I wanted to keep going. It was like, okay, now what? The inner space feels really clear. The outer space also then wanted to be clear too. It was just what was naturally showing up next. So I remember last summer going through Awake Living and going through the magical art of and tackling my space, and I had to come over and help me because I felt like I needed support. And I have a picture of what the living room looked like when we took all the clothes out, and I just sat and cried. I just sat and cried and thought I was trying to fill a void. I was so sick, really, and living with the pretty serious disease. And instead of actually changing my habits so that my body felt better and that I had, I could actually live in integrity, I was spending my money on buying clothes to try and mask or cover up what was going on inside. And it was like it all came together at that point. And I could see why my money was so deeply affected, right? Like why my financial situation was a mess. And I could see it in front of me. Like it was crystallized. It was in physical form sitting in front of me on my floor. And I just sat with it. And she knew too, because this friend of mine also is my housekeeper. Like she comes in twice a month and cleans and helps me clean my house. And she knew what was going on because she could see it. And she wanted, so she just held the space, right? As we say, the yogis, she held the space. She just held a container for me to come to some pretty heavy duty realizations. I wanted to play music the whole time. And she kept saying, turn the music off, Grace. You need to just be with this, dude.
So now your space, like people walk into your space and they're like, whoa, you're not living you're not the same you. And so what's happened too with money and what's happened with your time and how's that shifted?
Well, I used to be someone who would not make it to appointments, and I think you remember this when I first started working for you, like missing things, just not not being on calls or not being at a meeting or not missing a strategy session. And I didn't have a sweet clue how to use a calendar and how to, there was so much fog. So, to jump back for a second, the financial piece there was clarity there in how I was using my money and what I was using it for. And, not only do I not spend money on weird shit anymore, but my income's increased, immensely because I know what's coming in. I know what's going out. And then this is where the time piece comes in. My time is so aligned. Like I rocked three jobs today, essentially. Like I worked for you and rocked it. I came to my yoga studio and rocked it. And then what was the third thing that I did? Oh, I rocked my own business. Like I talked to my own clients. I talked to your clients. I talked to my clients, and I came in and did some work in my studio. And it's 3:00 and I'm headed home.
And you got 2 kids and it's like all in flow.
All in flow. People actually say to me often, like, how do you do all the things that you do? And I'm like, well, I am we bend time. I compress time. I've learned from you, like, there are things that sit on top of other things. Like I've got a I've got to do the self-care practices. They sit on top of work, right?
Yeah.
So that has to get done first. So the time piece, the other day I make it a game. The other day I had to get a whole bunch of laundry folded, and I had a busy day, full calendar, and I set a timer for 5 minutes and said, all right, Grace, how much laundry can you fold in 5 minutes? And it was so fun, and I folded it all.
Yeah.
Every
So lastly, like, what's happening in terms of your dream capacity? I mean, you've really painted this picture of someone who had a lot of physical issues, had disease, had a lot of just excess, weight, excess in your house, and now to someone who is making good money, is living in a body that you love and respect, and is experiencing flow, is experiencing being able to bend time. Like, what's happening in terms of your own dreams and believing in your own dreams and stepping into your own dreams?
Oh man, you're hitting me with the heavy. Like, I promised myself I wouldn't cry this time. But it's like, it's unbelievable. Like the level of confidence that I now have, like, I don't even know if confidence is the right word. Like, the belief that I have that, like, I can friggin' do anything. Like, if I can get those things in order, what it shows me is that limitless possibility, and that I am the kind of person who can do whatever the heck I want to do. When I set out to do something, it gets done. I have now built the trust back in myself.
Yeah,
that when
it's
I want to do
trust.
something,
Yeah,
I'm going to complete it. I'm going to accomplish it. I thought I was a procrastinator. Like, I remember going for therapy before and being like, I am such a procrastinator. And it wasn't really the issue. It was like a lack of structure, a lack of belief, a lack of health and alignment. And now procrastination's not a thing, and I didn't have to work on it.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to complete those things. I want to live in a clean space. I want to take care of my body. I want to show up for myself and others. I want to make change. And now I feel like I have the energy to show up and do that. I have never been more comfortable being myself ever in my whole life. And I am an out there person. You know, I am loud. I am in people's faces, and I'm just okay with it. Right? Like, I'm owning it. I'm owning my body and my space and my dharma, and it's not like it's all different. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's integrity. That's integrity. Okay, honey pie, I'm so excited to see you next week.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. I've missed you. I feel like I haven't talked to you since we were in Mexico.
I know. It's been forever. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye. So with this